missed just a brief little introduction about Rob Coury and his generosity in supporting the program. But right now we're introducing our staff and the folks who help facilitate the program. And so Gohar Karamian is our administrative director. You've already heard from her. You get emails from her, and she's the one who keeps us all informed and pulled together. Our mentors who are here are Caroline Zimmer, who is there at University Village, so you can wave hello. Vanessa Nunez is, Gutierrez is zooming in from her favorite spot. I'm assuming that is your room. And then Ryan is also zooming in. Ryan Nagel is also actually, Ryan, did you do the program? You are.
No, so my first year in the program was as a mentor. So
that's right. I remember you talking about it, but all of the mentors are trained, but I realized after I said that, I'm like, oops, Ryan's our last mentor. I think this is the last class of mentors who have not gone through the program, because this is our fifth year doing this. And so we have quite a number of alums, and hopefully you'll reach out and hear from some. And if you want to connect with anybody, you'll just let us know. And so anyway, I am going to now share my screen and pull up, optimize. Hopefully the video will work. Okay, can everybody see just give me a thumbs up if you can see the PowerPoint. Okay, wonderful. And now I'm going to move you guys over somewhere. I can't move you. There we go. Sorry, ranging my screen. I'm a little out of practice on presenting on Zoom. So the Coury Leadership Program is a strengths-based, values-based leadership program. And what leadership really means and where leadership starts is actually with you. You cannot really lead others and by extension be an effective follower without really understanding who you are. And this program allows you to sort of recognize through StrengthsFinder, Clifton StrengthsFinder, and the VIA character survey more about yourself to develop your strengths, to achieve your goals, and also identify the foundation, the values that drive your behavior and are going to make you that much more successful consistently over time. When I think about the Coury Leadership Program, I think about its components and where different elements of leadership get overlapped is you get to develop your strengths, your values. That contributes to your emotional intelligence, which is a big differentiator when it comes to leading others and succeeding in the workplace. And what does emotional intelligence start with is self-awareness, right? And then self-management or self-regulation, social skills, and empathy. And understanding this about yourself makes you more effective as a leader, because being a leader is really working with and through other people to achieve a particular goal. And to do that, we are leading through relationships. That's how work gets done nowadays. We're not out, making widgets, although widgets are still made. I mean, there's still a lot of manufacturing and the like where you're making physical products, but a lot of us, are going into knowledge work, and knowledge work and any work, frankly, requires us working well with others and moving people and influencing people, and knowing both your own strengths and then identifying the strengths of others is going to make you that much more effective as a leader. There are different specific features of the program that I think are unique and impactful. One is it's experiential, and that's one thing that we wanted to focus on. This is not sit in the classroom, listen to lectures, read a book, do that sort of thing. It's more a workshop format. and or seminar-based format. Yes, there's a little talking, but I desperately try to keep that down to a minimum so that we can then turn around and have you do exercises, you do assessments, like I mentioned, the Clifton Strengths Finder, the VIA character survey, which if you're in BUAD 304, you're familiar with that, but we do it again. And then take those results and apply it to meaningful goals and activities you're currently involved in. So that may mean, student projects. It may mean student club work. It could mean internships. It could mean student, if you have a job on campus or off campus. And actually, you'll hear maybe some of the success stories or applied success stories from past participants and mentors are how you can use this in not just in your professional and academic life, but in your personal life too, because you've got relationships there too. But like working with roommates and that sort of thing. So it's integrated, and we have 5 formal meetings, and there's a calendar ahead, so that we come together, we do a little learning, we do a little exercise, we apply and practice. You go away and continue to practice out in the real world. And then we come back together during cohort meetings where you get support from the mentor coaches on how did it go? What could what worked? What illustrated your strengths? What you could do better? Along the way, you're learning skills like active listening, crucial conversations, which are 2 really elemental or foundational leadership skills that, and frankly, I extend that to anybody in business, because, you need those for team membership, followership, just getting things done with and through people. It's supported, as I just mentioned, we have trained peer mentors. These are your Coury mentor coaches. Each coach has a small group of people, mentees that they coach. It's about 8 to 10, depending on the size of the group. Run the breakouts with them, or the small sessions, the cohort meetings, but also meet one-on-one or in small groups. And then at the end of in our capstone session, we are supported, and the session is led by MBV, which is the Masters of Business for Veterans. Those leaders who are committed, we have a great relationship with them, where they are sharing their leadership knowledge, skills, and experience, both from their own military experience, because frankly, military has awesome leadership training, but also from their business experience, because these are veterans that have been out there, working and achieving goals, which is really, the bottom line for leadership. And it's unique. We use Clifton Strengths and VIA together. It's unique in the fact that all of us are together in that second semester. And I'm just making sure everybody's muted. Thank you. That first year transfer students, and then student mentors, you get to know and get to work with a diverse group of first-year students. And it's a wonderful way, and really the only place where folks from a lot of different interests come together in pursuit of building their own leadership, in a common pursuit, building their leadership. And it's practical, as I mentioned before. The benefits, and some of these I integrated into what I had just already said, but that self-awareness of strengths and values builds your emotional intelligence, helps you become more effective in achieving your goals. And this is one of the things the Clifton Strengths Finder helps us pursue, is you find out what your top 5 strengths, and these are nature and nurture strengths. But now I just lost my train of thought. It helps you pursue and do better because of your knowledge and application of those strengths, is really you're going to be more successful by building and leveraging your strengths than you are by fixing your weaknesses. And we talk more about that in the program. But what does success look like? It's consistently high performance over time in pursuit of your goals. So as we continue to, and you will see this over time, not just over the course of the program, but over the course of your, academic career here, and even alumni who have been through the program. We touch base, and they give comments such as, I'm able to really make a difference on this project because I already know what my strengths are. I can leverage them to make a difference. I don't have to struggle with finding a place for me in this team or in this organization. As I mentioned, it's a great opportunity for connection among first years. It really gives you that interview and internship readiness and helps develop and promote a growth mindset, which, given the environment that we're working in these days, I oftentimes refer to the VUCA world. It's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. The amount of change that we are dealing with now and will have to continue to deal with going forward requires a growth mindset. And so knowing your strengths, knowing your values, having this foundation of leadership skills allows you that confidence, that courage to go ahead and try something new, knowing that, you have it. And if you don't have it now, you will have it in the future. The growth mindset, I always love to say, is I don't know the answer yet. And the growth mindset allows us that freedom, that adaptability to continue to push and innovate and grow. And it gives us that self-confidence and courage to lead. Now, this is too out of research. The fun thing is the program is fun. It's interesting. I think it's engaging. It's very social in that respect. It requires you to build relationships and do self-reflection. And what happens is when you start thinking about those things and your strengths and how you're going to apply them, and then you go and practice it, and then you get feedback on how things went, that feeds that sort of continuous cycle of success, which breeds confidence, right? And gives you the courage to step out and to lead out. The Coury experience is, and you've seen this maybe on the website. So this is kind of the progress or the process of the experience. So you apply. The applications are available on our website. Gohar will give us the due dates. It's a rolling admission, so give us the due dates in just a minute. Or perhaps put them in the chat box while we're, sorry, my feet slipped on my stool. And then we have an orientation. It's an online Zoom orientation in early January. This is something we added last year when we were fully remote. And I think it really, and it's optional, but it just sort of gives people a touch base for those that really want to know, okay, I'm starting, February, I want to say February 4th, but I don't know if it's February 4th. Yes, it is February 4th. February 4th. What do I have to do before? And we are very open and communicate with you. It's very well planned. So not to really, this is one of the big issues is we have this debate on whether it's a class or a program or things like this. Is one of the things to make it accessible to as many students as possible, I think, is to make it so it is not onerous. It's not an additional class. It's very manageable and doable. So we have our first session, you sort of do some pre-work, and then come in February where we do a strengths-based leadership seminar, explore the Clifton strengths. What does that mean? How do we use it? You go out and practice, you come back together for the cohort meeting that's facilitated and supported by your mentors, student to student, and then you come back on March 4th. So, which I think usually that's how it goes. Yep, it's Friday, March 4th. For the values-based leadership and talking about, and then learning more about active listening and crucial conversations. In between or throughout the whole program, you have the opportunity and actually a requirement to meet one-on-one with your mentors to get that boost, to get that encouragement, to answer questions. They also hold what I guess we call office hours for lack of, but meetups, mentor support things where, and they can explain to you, but it's something like, okay, I'm going to be sitting out at the tables outside in front of Vertita on Thursday morning, drop by, come chat, and to make it, so that we have formal and informal opportunities to connect and to support you. We have a cohort 2 meeting. That's where you guys come together. We talk about creating an action plan, a personal mission statement, and get you ready for sort of your launch out of the program. And we finish with a capstone, which is where we interact with the MBV leaders, and they take us through what essentially, since it's all in person this spring, keep our fingers crossed, right? That our capstone event is similar to what I'll call a low ropes course. So they're activities that are similar to, what you see on the video. And in fact, that's where I was going. So let me go back. Here is the schedule. So February 4th is our first session. We have that orientation in January. That's on Zoom, optional, but it's a great touch base. And then cohort meetings, and it's like almost every 2 weeks you are engaged in something Coury related. That doesn't mean, what we expect of folks is to be practicing and being aware and reflecting and bringing that stuff back to the cohort meetings and to the breakout sessions we have on the seminar days. March 4th is a values-based. And then a couple weeks later after spring break, that's probably, a little bit more than 2 weeks, but we have cohort meetings. And cohort meetings are like, we have the seminars on Friday afternoons. The cohort meetings are it says the week of, because those are scheduled during, we actually have quite a process of scheduling those so that they make them available for that suit the mentor schedules, but also the mentee, your participant schedules. So you will sign up for a particular cohort that meets your schedule. Sometimes those are like on Tuesday nights and Thursday mornings, and then a couple of cohorts always meet on Fridays, mornings and afternoons. And then I wanted to wrap up our presentation with this video, which is from a couple of years ago. This was the last time we were able to be together, and we're planning on replicating this going forward. So let's see if this plays. Trying to make it so that I can see it. Okay, Danny, you happen to be in my vision here. Can you see and hear the video? Just give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, wonderful.
The Coury Applied Leadership Program is designed for first-year Marshall business students. They're undergraduates who are coming into the program to build their confidence, understand where their values and characters lie, and to build the courage to really make a difference and step up as leaders in the future.
I think overall the main idea is just to learn how to be an effective leader. So it's kind of like having that balance between like what you're already good at and how you can utilize that, and what you're not so great at and how you can improve upon that.
Really two different types of meetings. There was the main events. Everyone would meet in a lecture hall, and Professor Tolan would speak, and then we would have smaller breakout sessions with our cohorts.
So I'm Orange cohort. This semester we introduced like office hours, so we were actually meeting with our assigned mentees throughout the semester.
So as mentors, we really want to facilitate this leadership development process by making sure the students feel comfortable and have the resources they need. A lot of my mentees are now mentors.
Now that we've figured out through the different surveys what our character and innate qualities are, we are applying them through a series of different exercises.
The Masters of Business veterans serve as great role models for the freshman and transfer students.
It is really a great opportunity to take those our real hands-on, practical-based leadership that we have from the military to them, to what they're trying to build to and learn towards.
You know, it helped us build confidence, especially when they were like, you know, you're doing this right, you're doing great. So it was just another cool perspective that we got that we weren't just getting from our mentors who are also in college.
USC and the institution, the philosophy of entrepreneurship, the philosophy of leadership, especially applied leadership, was critical. Our family foundation, it was natural for us to partner with this institution because our mission is to instill guiding principles in young, up-and-coming professionals, because we think that's where the biggest difference is made.
What I would say to a freshman considering applying to this program is absolutely apply.
Hold on. There we go. That's not what I want. Sorry, hold on. Okay. So I'm just going to close with this quote, and then I'll stop sharing, but you'll see this a lot. I love this quote is because, you know, I think this is one of the things that underlies a lot of what we try to do in the Coury program is with realization of one's own potential and self-confidence in one's ability, one can build a better world. And that's what we're trying to help everybody do. So I'm going to stop sharing and welcome a few that have joined us after I started. And does anybody, well, I'm going to ask actually Caroline, Ryan, and Vanessa to just stay on the heads up, is who has any questions from those of you that may be applying? You can speak out, you can raise your hand.
I have more of a logistical question. So I noticed that there were 3 rounds, and that there was a note saying like apply sooner because that way you can secure a seat. But how does that exactly work? Because I didn't apply to the first round. I'm hoping to apply to the second.
Okay. Good question is that we have sort of rolling admissions, and here this year it's going to be kind of interesting. Last year we had 200 folks start the program, which is great because we were on Zoom. We weren't limited by the size of the room. We hold our program in LL 105 in Fertitta, which is like the big room that many of you probably have econ in. That is limited to 158 seats. So what I'm thinking is if we have 200 or more, I mean, my target is on like have 300 people apply. We'll have 2 sections, you know, one that starts at, let's say 12 or 1, and one starts at 2 or 3 and goes for the, you know, 3.5, 4 hours that we have our seminars. The only, and Gohar hasn't heard this yet, but as you were asking your question, I was thinking the only thing that might make it an advantage to making sure that you apply early is if we're constrained by space. But my goal is to find a solution to that that's going to work for everybody, because one of the principles of this program is that it's open to everybody. There are enough programs at USC that are competitive where you don't, especially first years, it's really hard to get involved. And so, but if you're interested in the program and want to apply, the application itself is not really onerous either. You know, it's not too overwhelming. It's give some thought as to what you're going to do with this program and why you want to be there. So, you know, take an afternoon and fill it out, and the sooner the better. Then too, we can start making plans as well. So does that answer your question, Judy?
Yes, thank you.
Gohar, you posted the due dates right in the chat box.
Yeah, so our last due date for fall is Sunday, December 5th. We do have one in January, but we're trying our best to reserve that for spring admits. So if you can get your application in by the 5th, there's a link to our website which has the application in the sidebar, so you can check it out.
Wonderful. Other questions? So I'm going to ask Caroline about, for her impressions on how do mentors support, what's sort of the mentor-mentee relationship in the program?
Okay, yeah. So I feel like as a mentor, I mean, on Zoom, it was a little bit different. Just because there's really no ability to like meet in person, to go grab coffee, like something like casual like that. It was a lot more like scheduled and planned in order to meet with people. But I feel like as a mentor, of course, it's like kind of explaining the material and also just guiding people through the activities. But a lot of the conversations that I had with people were also about kind of finding your place in Marshall, internships, just kind of helping them along with like school and kind of like finding their place as a leader on campus. So yeah, I guess it's also helping with the program, but also just kind of being like someone in the business school that can help you out and like kind of get you ready and like able to succeed at Marshall.
Great. Ryan, how has the being involved in the Coury program impacted you and your leadership ability?
Yeah, I think that as a mentor, it's really taught me a lot about myself and gotten me a lot more confident in what I'm capable of. The biggest thing I think for the program is you gain an ability to recognize your own strengths, and it was kind of touched on in the presentation, but it's almost like a superpower. Like it helps you in so many different ways, not only in the classroom but outside in your professional and personal life. And to me, that was the biggest takeaway, and I just gained a lot more confidence in who I am as a person.
That does translate into when we talk about internship and job ready, interview and internship ready. Is that confidence, being able to answer that question? Tell me about your strengths. You're there. It's there, and you have concrete examples behind it. And I think it translates into a very positive impression. And I keep hearing stories from both past participants and mentors too about the success rate of their interview process because they're better prepared. So Vanessa, what sort of benefits did you see for yourself in the program?
For myself, I definitely, like Ryan, was a more confident leader, public speaker in general. But I think when you know your strengths, you're more likely to just lean into them. I think when we get to college, you really want to fit in and you aren't outspoken as let's say you were in high school. But when you know about your strengths, then you're able to lean into them and kind of not really try to fit in with others, but just do what's best for you. And that's a definite benefit I've seen.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful thing to say, and thing to see in the program. So any of you have other questions for the mentors, questions for me, or questions for Gohar?
I do. I was just gonna ask, do you have a specific part of the program that really stuck with you, or one that was extremely memorable, and for what reason?
Ryan and Caroline and Vanessa is thinking.
I'll go first. I know this sounds this comes up in the program every year, but it's just setting goals for yourself. There's a different mentor who was my mentor during when I was in the program, and she just had such a funny goal of I'll only have 3 pieces of candy in a week. And that just stuck with me because if you set a goal for yourself, it doesn't have to be super big or super important, but it keeps you so accountable. So for me, that's a moment that really stuck. It's okay, I don't need to make these huge life goals for myself. I can start really small and then know what I really value later on.
Yeah, exercising, we call them, we use SMART goals as a framework for setting those goals. And it's an exercise you do in the first session. But it aligns really well with another concept called tiny habits, or which are setting very small, doable habits. And you just learn, to make change in small incremental ways. And then what you do is you learn the process, and then you take that process and move it on to things that, beyond like cutting back your sweets, so you don't have to go to the dentist as often. That's a great question. Ryan, Caroline, memorable parts of the program?
I can go first, Caroline. So one thing that I really liked about, or that I remember well from the program, is our final like capstone event. I kind of think of it as like the culmination of all of your work in the semester, and you get to hear from the MBVers. So, and you kind of see like how what you've learned throughout the semester kind of applies to a real life scenario. They all have military backgrounds, so what you realize is that the stuff that you've been learning is actually applicable. And to me, that kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, wow, this stuff is like real. Like it's not like, oh my God, like you're just learning about just like what your own strengths are, but you don't really know how to use them. But in reality, that it's so much more applicable than you think it is. And that was a great moment for me.
Great. Caroline?
Yeah, I feel like going off that note of having it be applicable to life, I feel like I noticed this, especially like starting my sophomore year with like group projects. Like I feel like the thing that resonates the most with me is like leverage your strengths, don't try to fix your weaknesses. I feel like especially in group projects, it's like the first thing I ask is always like, what is everyone like really good at? Like, what do you want to do? And that's how we kind of divide the work. And also going off of that, just the program, because it's also like with peer mentors, I feel like it's a really fun way to gain like fun like relationships and like friendships that last throughout college. I know a lot of my mentees from last year I still talk to, they still reach out to me for questions. So yeah, it's super fun just to kind of know people in other grades, and also it's like a great way to like meet other people as a first year.
Yeah, that's great. Any other questions? I know folks have got to get to class, perhaps get across campus. You know how to reach us. Coury Leadership Program at Marshall. You know our website has been coming to you. You'll continue to get some emails. I encourage you all to apply and join us in the spring. So with that, I'll just wish you all a great day, a wonderful Thanksgiving break, wherever it is that you're going to find yourselves. And I look forward to seeing you all in January. You can turn your mics on and say thank you and goodbye. That's always nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Peter and Daniel, are you still there? You can sign off. I dropped him and then I have to get this report. I don't report. Daniel Lee, I'm removing you. I'll just put you in the waiting room. Okay, there we go. I know people, I don't know what happens. Like, do you leave your computer?
Sometimes I just forget to put end meeting, and then I walk away and like go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah, exactly. Go get a snack or something like
Yeah.
that. Thank you guys. It was terrific. I really appreciate your help. And
super well.
Vanessa, have a great birthday and a birthday
you.
day on Friday, a birthday weekend. I'm all for like making your birthday last as long as possible. My
Yeah, that's
birthday
easy.
is usually, it's like 9 days before Christmas. So I'm like, I start the month of December. I'm taking care of myself from December 1st, but I say yes to every possible invitation. And same to you, Caroline. We'll see you on Friday. And Ryan, I think we'll see you too on Friday.
Yep, I'll be there.
Okay. And And thanks again. And so have a good day. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. It's a Coury call.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see Caroline like laughing at
She's, like,
whoever was
waving at
there.
everyone.
Yeah. Let's stop that and then